Hey guys, welcome to this episode of Dude, I Love My Ride, and today we have neither a car nor a brand new vehicle. In fact, we've got something that's way cooler than that. We've got a 1991 GMC Cyclone.
Hey guys, if you're looking to buy a used car, don't take any chances on its history. Avoid any nasty surprises by using Car Vertical's complete vehicle check that covers whether the car has had any accidents, whether mileage is accurate, whether it's been stolen, and much more from just $9.99 per report. Find out everything you want to know with just a VIN number at carvertical.com.
And Dave, thank you for bringing your truck.
You're very welcome. Thanks for having me.
And this is on the car channel, but let's face it, this is really a car.
Yeah, definitely more car than truck. I would agree.
Yeah, and you'll figure that out as this video goes along because this is a very special vehicle. It was built as part of, GM's attempt to bring performance back.
Yeah, kind of ignite that.
Yeah, and they did it for only 1 year, 91.
Yep.
And they kind of did it with, there were two of them, right? They were kind of cousins. There was a Cyclone, and then there was a Typhoon.
Correct.
And the Typhoon was basically the crossover version of this.
Yep, the four-seater, the family mobile.
Right, and this was the pickup truck version. So let's start with the basic question. Why did you get a Cyclone?
It's just too cool.
Yeah.
Not the kind of car you see every day. Turbocharged, all-wheel drive. 1 year only, so I'm really into kind of the unique special edition type stuff. And I just kind of watched them for many years and finally found one that seemed to check the boxes and went to check it out and kind of bit and went for it. After I test drove it once, I could see the excitement behind it and decided to go for it. Just a cool truck. Again, it's more car than truck kind of, but turbocharged, about 300 horsepower, all-wheel drive, so just a fun daily driver.
Let's face it, back in the 90s when this was made, horsepower was kind of not there. And so when GM, threw down the gauntlet and put out a car/truck that put out, 300 horsepower, 380 pound-foot of torque, something like that?
Yep, somewhere.
Out of a 4.3-liter turbocharged six-cylinder.
Yeah.
It was pretty astounding news.
And in 91, this was the fastest car GM offered, faster than the Corvette, beat out Ferraris. It was the fastest production car Chevy offered at the time. So.
Yeah, and what made it cool was it was not only turbocharged, but it was all-wheel drive, right? I think the torque distribution you were saying is 65% to the rear.
Correct.
35% to the front. Yep. It just came out of left field, and people lost their what.
Yeah, didn't really know what it was or what to think of it, honestly.
Yeah. So let's open up the hood and show them what's under the hood. Let's start with that. I'll get it. You open it up, and then we'll kind of go and work our way through this vehicle because it's so cool. How many miles does this have on it?
It's got 113,000 on it.
So this is a really good number for a vehicle like this, right? When we buy cars, I look for cars that have about 100,000 miles on them because the problem is if it's got 5,000, it's a museum piece. Yep. And if it's got 250,000, it's pretty used up. Yeah. And this is a driver, so you can actually use this and drive it. Yeah, what's really cool is right here, you can see it says Cyclone 4.3-liter turbo. Here's the big turbocharger right here, so you can actually see where the turbocharger is.
Really easy to work on, too, actually. I mean, everything is right there.
4-speed.
Yep, 4-speed, 7R4 transmission, so it's got the overdrive, too, so you can cruise on the highway, too. And 65 miles an hour, you're only 2,200 RPM maybe, so it's a good cruiser. You're not wrapping up real high on the highway or anything like that, which is nice.
I'm going to ask, how bad is that turbo lag? That is a big turbocharger. Today they've gone to either dual scroll or two turbos per cylinder, one per cylinder bank. These were the old school big turbos.
To give you an idea, the red line's about 5,000 RPM, and if you're launching it, really wanting to get out of the hole quick, you need to be power braking to about 3,000 RPM to be in the boost range to be ready to go.
So it's like a diesel almost, right? You kind of roll onto it.
It really is, yeah. If you roll into it, you get a much better. If you floor it, you're just going to kind of sit there and wait for it, and then it goes. But it's very similar to a turbo diesel.
Well, we'll take it for a ride because I'm really curious to see what this thing is like. Because I've read all of the buff books. I've seen the videos, but to actually have one here in person is pretty incredible. And it's in really good shape. I mean, you've got some chips, which you'd expect on a vehicle of this age, but the plastic isn't faded. How much time do you spend washing this? I noticed you've got a please do not wash.
Yep, so I just had it professionally detailed by Simply Clean. It's a detail studio just about 10 minutes down the road from you guys. So I try to do about once a year. Yeah. Just have a professional do it and just really make sure it's going to kind of stay in good shape. It's stored indoors. Yeah. So again, I try not to beat up on it and still enjoy it. I'm not afraid to drive it.
Come on back here. Let me show you why this is more of a car than a truck. And there's a sticker right here that kind of explains it. So let me open up the tailgate. Why don't we show them the sticker right there? So the sticker says cargo load not to exceed 500 pounds, which is what, a couple of kegs. What are you going to haul with this thing? I mean,
just a bunch of, you know what?
Well, ass. You can haul ass. Yeah. But you're not going to haul anything that's heavier than 500 pounds.
Yeah.
And I noticed no tow hitch either.
Nope, and I don't think they had any option to ever install one.
So GMC truck is optimistic.
Yeah, exactly. They put it there, I think, to check the box that it's a truck. Yep, it's a bed.
It's a bed. Yeah. Now I noticed that you have a sticker, Lowry
yep.
Agency, Allstate. So what is this, a business truck for you?
It is. So use it for my agency. I'm an Allstate agent in Castle Rock. I've been doing it for about 20 years.
Yep.
And my dad started the agency with a '54 Chevy truck. Was his daily driver vehicle. So just growing up in a car household, I kind of grew into cars, and he retired in 2017. I took over, so that's when I got this truck to kind of create my own identity too, and get in the car scene also a little bit more.
So Lowry Agency.
Yep, we're in Castle Rock, Colorado. Been there since '97, so check us out.
Okay, cool. Let's keep talking about the vehicle. Let's go on inside because there are some pretty cool things on the inside. It's very 90s. I mean, I like the kind of the cushy seats.
Yep, and the pipe interior there, the pipe lining.
And the very GMC steering wheel. I love the fact that it's a Cyclone over here. You do have the original owner's manual, which is always fun, right? This is like doing a little bit of modern archaeology.
Yep.
Yeah, seeing, there you go. Do you remember what colors these came in?
I think it was just black. Officially, they had some off colors for '92. They made a few prototypes for that year, and then Marble made a special edition.
I always see them in black.
Yeah, the Typhoons came in multiple colors, but as far as I know, Cyclone was black only.
Yeah, and how many units?
Just a hair under 3,000, 2998 or something like that, 2996.
When you look at the gauges, you've got some rudimentary gauges, but it's pretty cool. So you've got fuel level, obviously, oil temperature, water temperature. Here you have your how much electricity, voltage meter basically. And this is my favorite right there. It's your boost gauge.
Plus 15 is a good place to be.
And basically the boost gauge is either up or down.
Yeah, exactly. Are you boosting or not?
Are you boosting or not? That's it.
Yep.
It doesn't get any more rudimentary than that.
Very 90s interior though.
Yeah,
tape deck.
I love the tape deck. I love the fact that you've got these like really kind of square.
It's 90s in body. No airbags yet in 91 either, so no requirements there.
I like this switch. It says fog lamps.
Yep.
And I'm sure like when they made the commercials, it's got fog lamps. Like that was a big deal.
Big selling item at the time. Power button on the radio is the actual button too. It's not the knob. It doesn't crank to turn it on. You got an extra power button.
Turn it on. And one of the most unusual things, and I'll let you demonstrate, was this tool. You guys know what this is for? It's kind of a weird tool, but why don't you show them what that does so you understand why this is unusual.
So to get the wheels off, you got to use this to get the cover off. It's essentially like a wheel lock for your covers. It's a wheel lock, double wheel lock, essentially.
I remember growing up, and this still happens. I mean, people used to steal wheels, right? That was a big deal. And so one of the ways you could do it, of course, is you could put it like one of those weird lock nuts, right, that you needed a special tool. GMC took it one step further.
And they said, we won't give you access to the lug nuts.
Yeah, there you go.
And then the lug nuts get that way. So without this key, you can't get to the lug nuts at all.
And look, you're rolling on 245/50 16s.
Yeah,
Whoa,
watch out. Big time back then, And I believe they're all the way around 245s, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, 245. Yep. Imagine 16s today.
Yeah, they'd be dinky on there,
I don't think you could even buy a vehicle.
Finding tires is you start to get limited in this size anymore, unfortunately.
And it looks like they only roll one way too. It's got the arrow, so they're one directional, which is pretty cool. So let me ask you, how much did you pay for this bad boy?
$12,000.
I think that's good.
I felt it was a very good deal.
Yeah.
There was some on Craigslist at the time for a little bit more, lower mileage, but modifications and stuff. The originality, the untouchedness was worth a lot to me. And since then, I haven't seen any more on Craigslist come up for sale.
They're not common. I mean, 3,000 units. What's your favorite part of owning this truck?
Just the simplicity to drive it, I think. It's very easy. You can one-hand it the whole time. But when you mash the gas, it gets up and goes. It's basically V8 power in a little truck, and it's just a hoot to drive. It really is.
What's your least favorite part of it? Is there one part that you're like, ugh, they didn't get this right?
The two-seater is probably the worst part of it, just because I have a 1.5-year-old, so I can't put her in there right now.
Can't put her in the bed, can you?
But other than that, honestly, if I could find another one to either throw in a time capsule or something, or just beat up on, this one's so clean, I feel bad. You could really daily drive this in Colorado, and it would be an amazing daily driver. It's got the all-wheel drive. It's got the power for the altitude. It's it's probably one of my favorite vehicles to drive. It really is. And again, to boot, no one really knows what it is, so you get the surprise factor on a lot of people and just not even knowing what they're next to, you know?
Yeah, and you feel special, right? You kind of feel special. It's not just driving, let's call it, your mid-size crossover. You're not driving a Rogue, you're driving something.
And it's not the performance of some of the newer cars, but again, it's something that you just don't see every day. You can't go out to the dealership and just buy one.
Yeah, let's look at the exhaust. Is that original?
It is, and it's a true dual, dual exhaust all the way back, and then it just comes to
off of each cylinder bank.
It runs all the way back, and then just comes right out running back together here. But it is dual the whole way back, which is neat.
The BMW E30 had a very similar, right?
Yeah, you had the dual tailpipes right there.
Tailpipes, yeah. It always back in the day that symbolized power.
Yeah,
right.
The dual tips.
Yeah, this is before manufacturers started hiding them or putting them into the rear.
Run single pipe and then just do tool outlets at the back, too. Sometimes. But.
Yeah, that was really cool. And of course, what made this interesting was this bodywork, right? The kind of the flared fenders, the fact that this was a regular GMC truck at the time, but because of all this, it just became very sporty and much.
They put like a factory body kit onto it almost. Really is what they did with it, with all the plastics and stuff. But it really, created those lines and just creates a nice, just a really cool looking truck, even to today's standards.
And then
at least in my opinion.
And I love the red piping. That's really cool that they did. I think those were obviously specialty Cyclone seats because it's got Cyclone on the back of the headrest. Anything else that's unique on the inside that besides, of course, the glove box Cyclone?
Yeah, that's about as unique in terms of just to the Cyclone stuff, the piping and the embroidery and the emblems and stuff like that. So
has anything broken on it since you've owned it?
No, nothing. Just oil change and detail. That's about
Doesn't look like there's any rust at all.
I haven't found. The only damage on it is on this back corner here. The guy had backed into something and cracked this little plastic piece right there.
So that's the only thing.
That was the only thing. He had a bed liner in there. He took it out and put it in his new truck, so there's not even a single scratch in the bed. It was crazy how good he kept it.
Yeah, and replacing this is not going to be easy because it's part of the whole.
And trying to find the piece too, so it's one of those things you go, you know what, you don't even notice it, and I still drive it, so.
I didn't notice it.
Yeah, it's.
Well, I think there's only one thing left to do, and that's to start it up and take it for a ride. What do you say? Yeah?
I agree. Let's do it.
Let's do it, man. Let's go for a ride. It's a very short little pickup,
It's nice. It's very compact. Good visibility too. You don't have any blind spots, really.
No. I mean, you're close enough to be friends, but not close enough to be more than friends.
Yeah.
So let's kind of talk about the era of these vehicles, right? So there was, of course, this. There was the Typhoon, and then of course the Grand National. Right?
Grand National is kind of the granddaddy of it all. To kind of start
this
forced induction
GM
V6
power craze. Yeah.
Yep.
Now those are a lot more expensive.
They really took off, and that's kind of what got me looking towards. Okay, what else is just as fun potentially?
Without being tens of thousands.
Yeah, without the premium price tag.
It drives really well. It's obviously a lot 90s. So.
Yep. And I need to go through it too and maybe check the bushings and shocks and stuff. I still haven't done any of that.
Yeah, you can tell it's got the suspension has 90,000, 100,000, 125,000 miles on it. But the steering is, look at that, no vibration. Let's lay on the power a little bit. You can start to feel it come in a little bit.
From a stop, it's. That was only downshifting one. It could have downshifted a second gear again, and then it really would have gone. And that's kind of some of that lag is if you don't prepare, it kind of doesn't downshift as far as you want it to, and it's still got enough power. That's the problem. It goes, well, we don't need to go that far because that's plenty. What do you need more for? You go, well, because I want it.
Yeah, and I love the proportions of this truck. It's just so small. Most trucks nowadays, of course, good God, today's full-size truck, right? A half-ton truck is as big as a heavy-duty truck would have been in the 90s.
Yep.
If not bigger.
Exactly.
And here, the proportions are just so cool. You feel like, you've got enough truck around you to make it fun, but not enough to,
you're not
make it hard to park.
You're going, oh.
Yeah, I know.
And that's...
There it goes. Yeah, it's good.
Yeah,
it's good. I think it probably hasn't lost that many ponies in the years.
It's... I'm surprised. It makes me smile every time I get back in. I forget how fun it can be.
Here we go again. There's the boost. I gotta show this boost gauge because the boost gauge is so cool. Watch this, guys. I'm gonna floor it. Here we go. There goes full on boost. Now, of course, the irony of this, guys, and let's be real here, is We are following our new office Touareg, which is a V8.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. And this thing is keeping up with it, but it's not passing it.
Yeah. It's much more off the line type car, I would say.
Yeah. And this is, what I love about fast trucks is most of the world doesn't get American trucks, right? Because here in America now, especially, we use trucks as family trucksters, right?
Yep.
Unless you've actually grown up in like Texas, you may not quite get the allure of trucks.
Yeah.
And then they certainly don't get trucks like this. Why would you have a truck that you take to the dragster? Right?
Yeah, that you can't even haul anything with.
Yeah. And my answer to that is go to the Daytona 500 and watch the truck race.
Yeah.
And you'll get it.
They seem to be doing just fine.
And you'll get it, right? Unless you do that, it's hard to explain.
Yep.
Just watch that truck race, and I think you'll get why people love trucks and why people love to race trucks.
Yep.
And this is the granddaddy of all, man. No, it's remarkably easy to drive. Brakes are great.
That's what I said. As a daily driver car, like
we'll give it a little bit of the beans here. I'll spool it up a little bit.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. There's the speed.
And that's really where
it's at. Yeah.
You see it more. And that's why I said, it doesn't really. It needs to downshift that one extra time when you're kind of going, because it puts it into the power band and gets you what you need, but it doesn't get you all the way into that.
Yeah. No, that's
where it's meant to be. Is that
exactly? Exactly. And I hope GM refines their heritage and starts building vehicles like this. Right now it's basically Ford with the Raptor and Ram with the new TRX that's coming. Right. That's doing this, and I hope that GM goes and does something crazy again with a pickup truck, because they certainly have the heritage for it, and there's
a market for it. People want it.
People definitely want it.